Hi everyone, my name is Amy. I am a social work major and I'm just taking this class for my last um, elective, so that's why I'm here. This is my concept map for the concepts we're going over this week, power and privilege and oppression. Um, I really wanted there to be a distinct line between those in control versus those that are not in control, kind of like we talked about dominant groups versus subordinate groups. And so I stuck the oppression line right in the middle. And I wanted there to be a flow between those that are the oppressors versus those that are not. That's how I kind of saw it in my head. And obviously, we learned in the book that there's 5 different ways oppression can be evident in society today. And so, as you can see at the top of the graph, we know that those that are privileged are the ones that really hold the power in society. And they're the ones that get to determine who is above that line and who is below that line. Historically, throughout society, based on gender and race and things of that nature, um, sexual orientation, all of those things, those that have the power get to determine what is considered quote unquote normal. And that's how we end up with a dominant group in society, particularly whites, particularly heterosexuals, those that fall within that dominant group will hold the power and ideally the privilege in society. But what the book really talked about is that we cannot look at oppression simply as one group or one issue. Kind of like everything we've learned, there is so much intersectionality regarding these issues of oppression and the groups that they affect. So, like for example, violence, you can see I have violence connected up to heterosexual. The book really talked about one section about the violence that gay men have received in the past and still continue to receive to this day, because they don't fit into the dominant group um, of heterosexuals. And then um, you can see I also have a line connecting the whites and the wealthy to imperialism. I think one of the best examples of this is I say our because I am in the dominant group, view of the Native Americans and what we as a society did and continue to do um, in regards to that group of people. And as you can see, all 5 of those areas are below that oppression line. And so there's constant relationship between the two. So on the far right, you have the wealthy and you have the marginalization. And I think what I noticed in doing this concept map is while it sucks those that are below this line, it's almost like they're dependent on those above them. One example came to mind of like factory workers, those that hold the power and give out the jobs for those that are working the lower class jobs. The book talks about that too, the working class poor. And I think, you know, when we look at how much these are interconnected, it just is such a bummer because we're dealing with a relationship that has to exist in some way because we all have those people that are business owners or those that hold the power economically that create jobs and wealth, although not sometimes a lot of wealth for marginalized groups. And so the book really talked about raising the standards for those that are in that bottom sector in regards to jobs. And then we know that powerlessness, any of these groups, any minority in society will be below this line, no matter what, in some way, shape, or form. And that can lead to all 4 of these, I feel, views on oppression. And so I just really feel like it's important to understand that while we can call out what oppression is and we can look at it, in the end, it really just depends the group you're in and it depends on the relationship that the oppressed have with those that are oppressing them. So I found that really interesting when I was making this map. Thank you so much for listening.